Today I'd like to do a product review of the new Leatherman Signal multi-tool. I first became aware of this multi-tool at SHOT Show 2015 and immediately caught my attention due to the unique design of it. So basically what this tool is designed for is to be not only a multi-tool but also something that could be used in an outdoor survival situation. So it's going to have the functionality, capabilities, and quality of a full-size Leatherman multi-tool with some additional tools that you don't often see with multi-tools, such as a whistle, a fire steel, and even a knife sharpener. So this is a prototype. I have it on loan now from Leatherman for the past couple of months. So for this product review, I don't want to go over in too much detail regarding the quality of some of the tools. For example, the knife blade is very dull, as you see here, because it's a prototype. Also, the action isn't as smooth as what you come to expect from a production-ready multi-tools. But what I would like to do is cover it from more of a design standpoint. So we'll go over all the tools that are included with this multi-tool, and then we'll just talk about each of the tools from a design standpoint on how they're laid out and how beneficial it might be in an outdoor or survival situation. So let's get started now with this product review featuring the Leatherman Signal multi-tool. The Signal weighs in right around 7.5 ounces, which is equal to 212.6 grams. It has an overall length of 4.5 inches, which is equal to 11.43 centimeters, and then we have a blade length of under 3 inches at 2.73 inches, which is equal to 6.93 centimeters. The blade is made of 420 HC stainless steel, and then we have the glass-filled nylon handles that you see here that helps reduce the weight. It has the 25-year Leatherman warranty on it. Now let's go over all the tools. As I mentioned, it has 19 tools in all. So we have the carabiner that you see here for attaching to maybe your backpack or pants. We have a hammer. It could be used like that. Over here we have the two different box wrenches. So we have the 3/16 and the 1/4 inch box wrenches. You see there. On the back here is where we have a nice little pocket clip. Nice and sturdy. We'll go over these specialty items in a little bit. So again, we have that 420 HC stainless steel combo knife, so it has the flat edge here as well as the serrated edge. It locks into place, which is pretty standard there. It's just going to have to press that little indent that you see there to put it back. And then on this other side here is where we have the saw. Pretty standard Leatherman saw that you see here, pretty aggressive back to it, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Also locks into place as so press that down. Now let's open it up. Let's take a close-up look now of the pliers, which look pretty similar to what you come to expect from Leatherman pliers. So basically we have the needle nose pliers that you see here, regular pliers, we have the wire cutter, and then the hard wire cutter down there at the bottom. See if we can see it a little bit closer. Here's the back side. And here it is in comparison with the Leatherman Charge. Moving down from the pliers, we have all the tools in one of the handles. So the other handle that has the hammer on it, you don't see those tools there. So let's open them up really quick. So basically we have the bit driver for all the Leatherman bits. So here's a Phillips screwdriver. You could take that out, put the reverse in, and then you have the flathead screwdriver. Again, you could use all the Leatherman bits in this little bit driver that you have here. Next we have the Leatherman bottle opener. Again, this one's a pretty common one you see with almost all their Leathermans. And then last, this is normally where I'd expect to see the scissors, but they've included, since it's an outdoor survival type Leatherman multi-tool, they've included the awl, which is really cool with the thread loop in there. This is very common. I've seen it a lot with Boy Scouts, actually. That's when I first kind of learned about it. I'm not that proficient with an awl, but I know it's very common for outdoor activity. I thought this was a nice addition for this particular style of multi-tool. Now that we've gone over some of the more common tools, let's move on to those specialty tools that are specific to the Signal. So those are on the back side here of the handle. So we're going to move from this handle, which has all the small tools, over to the one that has a hammer on here. And over here is you'll see the ferrocerium rod here. So it's enclosed in a yellow plastic enclosure that you see here, and this is removable. So this is going to allow us to create sparks in order to make a fire, similar to what you have with the standard fire steel. So basically this is removable from the handle, and you do that using this little metal clip here. Keep in mind this is a prototype version, so basically you're going to release the metal clip and push up, and then that's going to release the ferrocerium rod from it. So to actually create the sparks with it, I think the intent is by Leatherman is to use the backside of the saw, which as some of you know, the backside of the saw it's kind of aggressive on the Leatherman multi-tool. So now it's being put to good use. So basically you're going to take the saw like that, make sure it's locked into place so you don't cut yourself. And then you're going to use it for creating sparks, which I'm not going to do indoors, but you're going to use it that way. So basically on the opposite side here is where we have the whistle. So this small little pole that you see here is going to be our whistle used for signaling in an outdoors or an emergency situation. Having some kind of signal capabilities is a nice thing to have. So this is the whistle. We're going to take a closer look at this later. So again, we have the whistle over here, and that's that on that side. So let's move on to the other side here. This is where we have our diamond-coated sharpener that you see here. So it's nice to have keep your blades sharp. So basically this is releasable. Let me see if I can actually do it. So I pushed down on here and I moved up, as you see there, and that's going to release the diamond-coated sharpener here. So now we're able to keep our blade nice and sharp, which it isn't sharp because this is the prototype version, but on the production version, I'm sure it's going to be very sharp, as you come to expect from Leatherman. So you can have a nice little grind on there using this diamond-coated sharpener. So those are the cool little additions to the Signal, which make it unique from some of the other Leatherman multi-tools that you might have in your collection. Since this is a prototype version of the Signal, I'm not going to do thorough testing on this video of, say, the knife, for example, since it's not sharp in any way. But let's take a closer look at some of the other tools that are included with this prototype version that we could actually test out. The bottle opener, the carabiner definitely works better on smaller loops than it does on the PALS webbing. Here's the hammer. Now let's test out the whistle using this decibel reader. So we're going to turn it on, and then we'll set it to capture the max decibel reading. We also use a little night core whistle as a comparison. So as you can hear, the Signal whistle is definitely still in its prototype phase because it's really hard to blow and it's not very loud when it does work, especially compared to the night core whistle. Now let's talk about the Signal from a design standpoint. After all, if you're watching this video, you're probably trying to decide, should I pick up the Signal or should I buy all of the items individually? The Signal is a new multi-tool in the Leatherman product line, has an introductory price of $120. I imagine over time that's probably going to settle closer to the $100 range, which is the price that you would pay for nice quality full-size Leatherman. This is the Leatherman Charge I've had for about 15 years. The Surge is also a very similar design to this. And then you could probably buy all the items that you see here on the table for the price that the Signal is at this current day. And for the additional items that are included with the Signal, I would say that they're better served as backups to primary functionality items of that same functionality. So I don't think the ferrocerium rod is going to outperform what you would get from the Ultimate Survival Technologies Fire Steel. The diamond-coated knife sharpener isn't going to outperform a dedicated knife sharpener, and the whistle isn't going to outperform a Fox 40 whistle or a Nightcore a titanium whistle like you see here. So again, I see these more as backups, but they'd be really nice to have if you only had one tool. If you had this tool or this tool and you really needed to start a fire or you really needed to signal for help, it'd be really nice to have those as backups to it. Now let's take a closer look at how the tools are all laid out in here. The first thing that I like to go over is the hammer. I can definitely see the point of having a hammer in an outdoor situation. For example, if you're hammering in some tent stakes, for example, if you had to do any kind of nail into a piece of wood, it'd be really nice to have something like that. Although I get a little bit worried of, you're hammering something in, everything's going to be fine and dandy when you're hammering in that nail until you actually miss it and you're going to jam that nail right into your hand. I'd be a little bit worried about that. But I guess in a pinch, having that functionality would be nice. This could also be used as some kind of a self-defense blunt force object type thing. But the hammer is one thing. I'm still trying to decide whether I like having a hammer on a multi-tool or if I'd rather have something else. I like that they included a knife sharpener with this multi-tool. I think that was a really cool feature. It's always good to keep your blades nice and sharp. The only thing I'm a little bit apprehensive of is just having it out there, right out there on the open, as you see here. I find that over time, any kind of a abrasive surface like you see here, like this diamond-coated knife sharpener, over time it's going to wear out fabrics. For example, if this thing was in your pocket and you're just going to be over time I find that you start getting a wear and tear of fabrics a little bit quicker than what you normally would. So if this was inside your pocket, you'd probably notice that you're going to start seeing some wear and tearing of it. For example, you could even just see some of the blue portions of the jeans here. So if this is on the side of a backpack, just as you're walking, it's just going to rub over there through miles of hiking. You're probably going to start noticing some the fabric start to deteriorate a little bit. I kind of wish that the knife sharpener was either reversed or some other layout of it, so it wasn't actually just out there all the time to be able to expose it to fabrics and things like that. The next thing I like to go over is how the pliers fit onto this opposite handle that you see here. Again, this is the side that has the ferrocerium rod with the whistle combination. So basically this little plastic piece here is kind of molded to the shape of what the pliers are. So the pliers fit nice and snug in there when that piece is in there. But what if you're not actually, you don't actually have that piece stored in there at the time? For example, maybe you're using it to start a fire, using the whistle, or maybe even lost it altogether. And what I've found sometimes with the testing is that you'll see that the pliers, especially if you're kind of closing it with them open, at times they'll go all the way through to the other side of the, let's see if I can actually recreate it here. So you'll see that happening with it, where it's actually going right through that hole that you see here. And sometimes it'll make a kind of a funky experience when you're trying to close it. So this is something that kind of worries me a little bit. Again, this might be just a little tweak with the prototype version of it that's going to be fine-tuned. I just think maybe just some additional metal piece or something to make sure that this doesn't actually do that, where it actually goes all the way through the handle, as you see here. So let's see if I can do that again, just to show. Yeah, so you have something like that and you're trying to close in it and problems happen. So again, you kind of have to assume that this might get lost at some point and you don't want something like that happening. And finally, let's talk about the removable tools from the Signal. When I think of Leatherman, I think of high quality tools that are going to last forever. For example, I've had this one for 15 years. It's built like a tank. It's all metal. I could throw this thing in the oven. It's not going to melt in any way. But with the Signal, you do have these little additional accessories here that have some nice functionality and tools with them. But again, they are made of plastic. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the final production version of the Signal. I'd kind of like to see these made of maybe the glass filled nylon kind of handle material that you see here. I do like that it's yellow. I think it has a very cool look to it. Yellow. When I think of yellow, I think of alerting, like taxis are all in yellow usually because they're easily visible. It's great for signaling, and I think that's the design approach that they have for these tools here. But I don't often think of removable tools from Leatherman products, except for the bit driver, of course, which you could replace the bit driver for multiple screwdriver or hex bits or anything like that. I get a little bit worried about losing these over time. Say in 5 years, I might lose these, or they might fall off at some point, and then the integrity of the multi-tool as a whole might be negatively affected. So that's just another thing possibly to think about. For example, maybe it'd be a better design approach to have these magnetized so they're not going to easily fall out at any point. That's just one thing I worry about a little bit with the Signal, just having a removable plastic pieces that might negatively affect the overall multi-tool as a whole. Another design feature that I thought might be worth looking into a little bit further is the design of the whole whistle combination with the fire steel. I almost wish that the fire steel behaved the same way as this knife sharpener did, as far as it being a removable piece that you can remove like that, and then it's kind of a flat design, so you still have that metal piece that you see here that helps protect the pliers from actually going through the hollow handle. So instead of having this whole combo with the fire steel and the whistle, just having the fire steel removable in the same way as the knife sharpener is. But I'm not saying that to get rid of the whistle in general. I just think that it's a little bit hard to get to, I think. For example, you have to open up the pliers, then you're going to have to flip the switch. You see here, lift that lever up, and then take the piece out in that way to get to the whistle. When you need to use a whistle, sometimes you need to use it pretty fast, so I think it'd be good to have it more immediate access. And then another thing is just, it's kind of hard to get back in there. So basically to get that in, you have to go and get it so it notches right there. You can't have it like that. It has to be like that. And then you're going to push in that way. So again, if this was cold weather, it might be kind of hard to do that. So here's a few different recommendations that I had for alternative whistle locations. I thought it'd be kind of cool to use the hammer portion as a whistle, similar to how a lot of backpacks that you see have the chest strap that has a whistle integrated into it, so it's real quick access. So basically you can just open this up and then use the whistle similar to a design kind of like that. So basically you could blow into there and that way, and then use the whistle like that. So it'd have to be a very small design, but I think it'd work, especially if it works in chest straps of backpacks. I think it could work with that hammer portion. Another alternative that I thought would be really cool is if you had a whistle like kind of integrated as one of the tools. So maybe get rid of if you wanted to, you could get rid of having the Phillips screwdriver over there, which you might not need in an outdoor emergency situation, but you could use the whistle, and having that whistle to be one of the tools maybe on this other side over here, so you don't have to get rid of the bit driver there, but that could be released just like a standard Leatherman tool and then used in that way. And then the last method that I thought might work is to take a whistle design and use it with the actual bit driver. So make a Leatherman bit that actually is a whistle. So instead of having this, having a smaller version of it that you could have a whistle inside of there. It'd have to be very thin and small one, but I've seen very small whistles before made. I think it'd be kind of a cool thing that you could have, and that way then you could have the whistle integrated with that bit driver, and then the bit driver goes back into the handle in that way, and you can interchange the bits as needed. So again, that whistle would be there in that location. It could either be its own assembly or be part of the bit driver that you see here, just to be an additional bit that you can add on there. So those are three different alternatives to the whistle design that's currently being used with the Signal. Here's another idea I had with the Leatherman Signal going along with the whole concept for the whistle. I thought it'd be really cool if Leatherman kind of took an idea that they use already on their multi-tools. For example, they have the rulers that you see here. You have it in inches. You also have it in metric that you see here, and it's just kind of engraved into the handles at various locations. I found that I've never actually needed to use those rulers, but it's something that I thought could be leveraged with the Signal for any of the empty spaces here. I thought it'd be really cool if they did added some engravings for various signaling methods. So perhaps having the Morse code maybe engraved onto the handle behind here, or maybe even behind the fire steel or something like that. Again, it'd have to be really small. Maybe it would just be how to signal for SOS or anything like that. But I thought that'd be kind of a nice touch to add to the Leatherman Signal to help just go along with the whole concept of having it be all-encompassing tool that could be used in an emergency situation in an outdoor environment. Just having that engravement for Morse code, maybe any other kind of signaling methods, smoke signal, you name it. You might be able to do that with the fire steel portion, have the various smoke signal signs engraved here. It'd have to be really tiny again. Maybe it'd be on the inside portion. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure Leatherman could figure it out. And then maybe on the whistle portion, you could have those Morse code signaling engravings in there, similar to the concept that's already used with the ruler, but just having its own little twist with it with the Signal. I thought that might be pretty cool to have. That's going to do it for this product review featuring the Leatherman Signal multi-tool. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching it. I'm pretty excited that Leatherman's getting involved in the whole outdoor survival, emergency preparedness scene with regard to the design of this particular multi-tool. I feel that they offer some unique design solutions for adding additional capabilities to their multi-tool that you don't see with other multi-tools, which could be very beneficial to have in an emergency and survival situation. Again, I don't feel that these replace the primary functionality of like a fire steel, like a primary fire steel, but they'd be a good backup for those. And so if you had only one tool on you, it'd be kind of nice to have those additional features with you in an emergency situation. I've offered a few different design improvements that could be done, which I feel might make it an even better multi-tool. So please feel free to leave any kind of comments below in the comments section, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video featuring the Leatherman Signal multi-tool. See you guys next time.